Hello everybody, it is I, YouTube Cool, back again, and today I'm going to be reviewing Albert Hinkey. No, I'm not kidding. This is Albert Hinkey. Now, of course, you're all probably going, wait, that's not Albert Hinkey. What is this? Alright, sit down. This is going to be a bit of a difficult thing to explain, but I've been investing more and more into cars customs. It's been a dream of mine. I've seen a lot of really talented customizers in this community. I've always enjoyed the concept of owning these sort of one-of-one art pieces of characters that either we have but most people probably can't get, or characters that never got diecasts. I believe I've previously reviewed the Ashton Pacer custom by my good friend Rusty's95. And I think I've made some customs. I don't know if I posted any on the channel yet, but I have been working on making some of my own customs. But there are a lot of customs that I just don't think I have the ability right now to do. And one of them was this Big Al here, otherwise known as Albert Hinkey, but he was released in the diecast line as Big Al, which is not to be confused with the guy that left, 15 years ago. If this custom looks familiar to you, it's because it belonged to someone very special in the Cars community to me. Someone that I used to know and frequently had good conversations with. Rusty Studios is probably one of my biggest inspirations for what I want to do with my YouTube channel, what I want to do in my fan works, the comedy of it, and just the art itself. Rusty Studios, which, by the way, I should probably preface since I mentioned the other guy earlier, is not related to Rusty's95. Rusty's95 is a separate person, I would know. But Rusty Studios unfortunately quit the Cars diecast line, and I believe just the Cars franchise in general, prior to this year. Like, I believe December of 2025. I didn't find out until a little bit later because I actually hadn't been subscribed to Rusty Studios, unfortunately. And unfortunately, I missed out on a lot of the diecasts that Rusty's had. Which is a real big shame because Rusty's had some really good items in the collection. Globy, some of the Cars Toons diecasts, like I think Autonaut McQueen. What else was there? Oh, the Rollin' Chomp Dino. Of course, you may remember Aggro McQueen, who was a very frequent character in the series as a sort of alternate timeline McQueen. That one, I definitely want to get one of the Aggro McQueens at some point. But to be fair, that's not what I remembered Rusty Studios for. Of course, I remember Rusty Studios for the really fun tier lists and also the really just insane customs. They were all these hand-painted, sort of really wacky concepts. Like, there was an entire array of McQueens with the alternative sponsors. Like I believe there was a Leakless McQueen, obviously an HTB McQueen, and it was Taco Mint. Yeah, Taco Mint. That and the Damage customs, which were also pretty insane. I believe Damage Doc, Damage Cars 1 McQueen, Damage Tuners, Autonaut McQueen was damaged as well. Just so many creative customs. Unfortunately, I also didn't get any of the Damaged customs, which I guess is also fine because those are things that I can do on my own. But I did get a couple customs. And as you can see here, Big Al was one of them. Pretty fitting. I believe one of the last videos I watched from Rusty Studios was the different Al characters in the diecast line. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Alex Machino was there. Alexander Hugo. Just a lot of characters like that. So yeah, Albert Hinkey was a really fitting item. And I really wanted this one because I wondered for so long how this one was done. Rusty's reviewed a decent amount of the customs made, but I don't believe Big Al was ever reviewed on his own. So I guess this is technically the first proper showcase of this item, and I promise to do my best to preserve this item. I promise to do that with all the customs, although I did have to make an exception for one, which I'm sure I'll get to record it and upload it soon. So all that preamble aside, let's get into Albert Hinkey here. So of course the eyes are printed from the diecast. The diecast was originally part of a charity auction before being released as a San Diego Comic-Con. That's actually a recent bit of trivia I learned. I actually never realized that charity part. I always just thought, oh, it just kind of came out as an SDC Comic-Con exclusive, just like a lot of other cars did, like Metallic Transforming McQueen. Not Metallic Transform, Lightning Storm. Transforming McQueen was just a super chase in 2020. So over here is, of course, the spare tire that has the 95. Unfortunately, it is just a paper accessory. I always wanted to make a Big Al custom and use a bottle cap, like a plastic bottle cap for the spare tire, just because I always thought that would make a lot of sense. Although I don't think I have any bottle caps that would be the right size. I feel like a lot of them are really, really big. So I have to get like a really massive model in order for it to look proportionate. That, or I would just have to make it out of paper. So yeah, unfortunately it's not 3D. That's really unfortunate. I just said unfortunate twice. Now 3 times. But I really wish it was a 3D piece, but I can't really complain. And then there is the smile. We got the headlights here. Very accurate to the original Albert Hinkey, which is really impressive. Of course, this is... I want to show the base early. I actually haven't been showing the bases as much lately. I'm really sorry about that, but I want to show the base for this because, of course, again, this wasn't made using a Pixar Cars diecast. This was made using a Kintoy diecasting coach. So this is just a standard pullback bus specifically that was used as the basis for this custom, which is really, clever because Big Al is just this massive, massive vehicle. Unfortunately, there's no side view mirrors, which the original diecast did. There's also no windows on the side because the whole thing is supposed to be windows, but those were all painted over with this sort of brown, sort of tannish color. You can see the individual brushstrokes, and I've heard some people say that that's not, super great, but I think it gives this item charm. And it kind of fits for an RV, right? RVs aren't super pristine looking items. They're all meant to be sort of, I guess dirty would be the right term. Used, worn. They've been lived in. They're literally motorhomes. Okay, now this is technically an inaccuracy, but technically not. Okay, so for those who don't know, Albert Hinkey in the movies only has the giant McQueen tarp on one side. At least the official diecast just had one side completely blank, but the other side has a massive tarp with the iconic Lightning McQueen's biggest fan on the side. This is printed from the diecast specifically. I believe in the movie the text is slightly different. It's a bit drippier, but this is what it looks like on the diecast. And so again, I think that's really creative to have it on both sides. It also helps mask that this was made using a bus and not an RV. I think using these pullback cars for custom Cars characters is a really underutilized concept. I know I've seen some other people do something similar, like my friend Ty does that with his monster truck characters. You guys remember Extreme from his Cars Adventure series? That was just a regular Hot Wheels Monster Jam truck that was turned into a diecast. Over here is the back. I actually haven't taken a good look at the back, but it's just the same brown, which is fine because I believe Albert Hinkey also just has nothing on the back. A lot of RVs don't. There's just nothing. No back windows, nothing, which is really interesting. Honestly, kind of an oversight, but I guess it's fine. And then over here is the other side. Again, this is all just a giant paper. Fun fact, originally the door didn't come attached in the package, and I thought it was supposed to go with another custom, which I'll show off soon. But no, it was just disconnected. I managed to force it back in though. And of course, Albert Hinkey has the function of being a pullback, similar to my Hydro Wheels McQueen, which I think you guys should have seen since I just uploaded Cabby by the time I'm recording this. So okay, see him go. I didn't want to roll him too far because my desk is really small and also there's a bunch of dead bugs over there. Yeesh. So yeah, I also want to point out that the top is very inaccurate as well, since unfortunately none of the flags or the 95 lightning bolt hat included on Albert Hinkey were part of this custom. If I were to make my own version of this, I would definitely try to include those. Maybe get a spare Timothy 2-stroke and use that as a basis. Or more likely just like print them out and then just have them as like, you know, static pieces or something. I get why that wasn't done. It was also probably just because otherwise, like, you know, like if Rusty Studios did that before shipping this out to me, then there is no way those wouldn't have broken off during transit. And no shade, it just, like, that's just a fact that, like, flags like that would get heavily damaged on a loose item like this. Like if you were to get a Big Al loose, like the actual diecast Big Al loose. Actually, if anyone's done that, on the off chance anyone who actually owns the real Albert Hinkey diecast, which I believe is like 5,000 units produced, please let me know. How fragile are the flags? So yeah, even though I don't own the regular diecast Big Al, I'm perfectly content with this. And in fact, I kind of prefer it in some ways, just because it has so much love and effort put into this, and because it's memorabilia of someone who meant a lot to me on my journey through the internet. Rusty Studios, if you're watching this, okay, well, I know I'm probably going to say this with your other custom reviews because I have like 3 others left, right? Left, right, down, up. No, but Rusty's, I want you to know you did something great. And I once again thank you for allowing me to, you know, have these. I hope whatever you're doing now, you're happy. Because you deserve it. Oh, wait, hold on. Did I point out the stripes? I didn't really feel a need to point out the stripes, but they are pretty accurate to Albert Hinkey as well. You know, they kind of look like they match the eyelids because the eyelids are a very bright color compared to the rest of the paint. That's an interesting way to go about it. But yeah. Anyways, that's all I have for today, and I hope you all enjoyed the review, and I shall see you all around. Bye-bye.